Matthew 7, starting at the 13th verse. Matthew chapter 7, starting at the 13th verse. And it reads, Enter ye in at the straight gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. May the Lord have a blessing to the reader, the hearer, and most importantly, the doer of his word. For just a few moments, I want to talk on this subject. The crossroads. The crossroads. Church, in my 46 years of living, I've come to realize that wherever you wind up depends on which road you take. In other words, you can't go north from here and expect to go to Tennessee. Nor can you go east from here and wind up in California. But just as this is true in the physical realm, it's also true in the spiritual realm. You see, where you wind up in eternity will be determined by the road you take here on earth. You see, it's impossible to take the wrong road and go to heaven.
All right.
And it's also impossible to take the heavenly road and go to hell.
All right.
You see, what you do while in this world will determine where you spend your forever. Church, our lives have been described as nothing more than a brief pause between two very long eternities. Now, this shouldn't take any of us by surprise. After all, we are surrounded by death from the day that we were born into this world. Loved ones have passed away. Friends leave this world, and deep down inside, everyone this morning all know that it will happen to us one day. But now the fact that we won't live forever is a common theme throughout the Bible. Psalm 90:10 says, the days of our years are 3 years and 10. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, but it is soon cut off and we fly away. Job 14:1 says, man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. So church, this is letting us know that we're going to leave this world soon, and when we do, we'll either live in heaven or we'll live in hell. So it's up to you where you end up. So this morning, as we look at these two verses, I want you to ask yourself this question and make personal. Where am I going to end up? Which way are you going to go when you come to the crossroads? Some people may not want to think about it, but church, you need to know where you're going when you leave this world more than ever before, because time is running out on all of us. Now, young people, don't think that this doesn't pertain to you, because it does. So just be mindful of the choices that you make, because they could be leading you down the wrong road. So the first thing we see, you can grab this morning in our text, is that there are two possible directions in life. Jesus tells us that there are only two possible roads in which one can walk. Now you have those who want to tell you that there are many paths you can travel through life. But however, Jesus limits the choice to just two. Some of you may feel that this is a narrow view. Well, guess what? You're right. So let's look at these two roads in which man can spend his day. First, there's the broad way. And this word broad means spacious. Jesus said that there's a spacious road in which a person can walk. Now you may say, Pastor, what does he mean by this broad road? Well, the idea that Jesus is trying to show us is that the broad way is wide open. In other words, anything goes on the broad way. Basically, you can do anything you like. You can carry all the baggage of your sins. You can live like you want to live. You can call all the shots and make all the rules. You can be king of the road on the Broadway. So it's saying, Elder, that On this road, you can be a fornicator. It's saying on this road, you can be an adulterer, Brother Ron. On this road, it's saying that men can be with men. On this road, it's saying that women can be with women. On this road, it's saying that you can shack up and play house. On this road, you can be an alcoholic. On this road, you can be a drug dealer and a drug addict. On this road, the Broadway, you can be a liar and a cheater. On this road, you can be a backbiter. You can be a gossip. On this road, you can be fake, phony, and filthy. You see, when you walk the broad way, you can be your own person and not have to answer to anyone. You can live life to the fullest. Go where you want to go. Do what you want to do. Be what you want to be. It's your life and you can call the shots. It's an easy way to live because there's no one to please but yourself. So, Brother Ron, just like the motto in the army, you can be all you be. But now there's a couple things you need to know before you decide to live out the rest of your life traveling the broad way. First of all, you're really not in control.
Right.
Ephesians 2:1-3 says, and you have been quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sin, where in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, among whom also we all had our conversation in time past, in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and where by nature the children of wrath, even as others. So you see, you're nothing more than a pawn of the devil. John 8:44 says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks of a lie, he speaks of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Next we see sin brings with it its pain and sorrow. Galatians 6:7-8 says, be not deceived. God is not mocked, for whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. But he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So you see, sin carries a high price tag. But God, Mama Jones, offers a better alternative. God has a plan whereby those who follow him enjoy the fullness of God's rich blessings day by day. You see, you can enjoy things like peace. You can enjoy things like joy and assurance of salvation. See, there are a multitude of other things which the Lord gives to us. And you'll never find a single one of them while traveling the broad road. But now, Reverend Slash, there is a narrow way. While the broad way is a wide open and easy, the other way a person can live is called narrow. Now this word refers to a great press. It has the idea of being constricted. It can also carry the idea of being distressed and difficult. You see, the narrow way is exactly the opposite of the broad way. On the narrow way, you can't take all your sins with you. And if you try, you'll find that there isn't enough room for you and them. You see, when you walk the narrow way, you must choose to give up your rights. You can no longer do as you please, but you must do those things that please the Lord. You can't make the rules, but you are expected to keep the Lord's rules. Some people, they have a mistaken ideal that they can live as they please.
Say that.
And that the Lord is obligated to smile down and bless them anyway. But the truth of the matter is, when you walk the narrow way, you should expect some difficulty. And out of all, these fleshly bodies will resist the confines of the narrow way. The simple nature will find the narrow way too tight and too constricted. You see, a lot of people say that they are saved, but they try to walk in the broad way at the same time. See, church, no one ever said that living for the Lord would be easy. No one ever said that living a separated Christian life that honors the Lord would be simple. As fun as living the life that gratifies the flesh. But however, Brother John, living for the Lord brings with it certain benefits that can be obtained by any other means. You see, living the narrow way, it honors God. Living the narrow way, it brings His blessings and power into life. Living the narrow way offers a far better life from every perspective. Nobody ever said that it was easy, but it's the only way to honor the Lord and to be His disciple. It's a life lived in surrender. It's a life lived in devotion. It's a life lived in dedication and obedience to God. And it's a life that He will bless. So if you feel that you're not being blessed, then I suggest that you take a step back and look and see what road you're on. Now we see there are two possible directions, but there are also two possible destinations. You see, church, all roads end somewhere. And the same is true with the roads we are considering this morning. They lead somewhere, and since everyone here is on one or the other, we need to find out where we're going. Well, there's a place called hell. And Jesus tells that the broad road leads to destruction. But when we think of something being destroyed, we usually think of something being annihilated and done away with forever. Well, this word, however, refers to loss. It speaks of total and absolute ruin. In all honesty, it refers to the loss of one who suffers in the fires of hell. Every person who chooses the broad way will eventually find himself in the fires of hell. You see, that to me is the most awful thought my mind ever tried to understand. What makes it so terrible is that some people are headed right there. You see, if you would bear with me for a few more minutes, I would like to give you a little insight on the place where the Broadway ends. The Broadway ends in unquenchable fire. The Broadway ends in memory and remorse. The Broadway ends in unsatisfied thirst. The Broadway ends in frustration and anger. The Broadway ends in unspeakable pain and misery, and the Broadway ends in eternal separation. See, there'll be no more mercy. Hell will be eternally real and eternally awful. Regardless of what men think, hell is real. And every second, lost souls drop off into the searing heat of that horrible place. A place from which there will never be deliverance. A place in which you will surely go if you choose to follow the broad and easy road through life. So the question is, where will you end up? Are you at the crossroads this morning? Now there is a place called heaven. Just as the broad road has its destination, the narrow way does too. This road doesn't end in hell, but it ends in heaven above. Jesus, He promised those who would follow this way of life, not just life down here, but everlasting, glorious life in the realms of life above this wicked, perishing world. If hell is a place of horror, pain, and separation and suffering, then heaven is a place of joy. It's a place of rest. It's a place of peace. It's a place of unspeakable beauty and glory. Everything in hell isn't, heaven is. You see, here is just a brief glimpse of the glory of that city that tell me that that's where I want to end up. You see, we consider these truths about this splendid place, and we would find that in heaven there will be no more tears, no more heartaches, no more pains, no more sorrow, no more death, no more sin, no more night, no more curse. We'll be with God and Jesus. Glories beyond description, beyond the ability of man to comprehend and understand. The narrow road may be the more costly of the two roads down here. But in the end of the road, it's worth the price of the child of God. So what if we walk a bit out of step down here? So what if we're misunderstood? So what if we deal without the things that the rest of the world indulges in and seem to enjoy? You see, when we get to heaven, the trials of the road will seem as nothing. The past will be behind us, and all the glories of eternity with Jesus will be unfolded before us. The journey will be over, and we will be home. So I ask again, where are you going this morning? So we see there are two possible directions, two possible destinations. But last we see there are two possible decisions that you can make. As we read these verses, Jesus makes it clear that man must choose which day he goes through and what kind of life he lives. If man makes these decisions, then he also decides where he spends eternity. Well, my brothers and sisters, that says there's only two possible directions and two possible destinations. But there's also two possible decisions that you can make. So let's consider these before I take my seat this morning. Let's consider that there's a wide gate which you can choose to enter. You see, in reality, there's no real choice made in entering the wide gate. You see, when a person is born elder into this world, they are born into sin. So as a result, they are already on the broad road. But yet, that little baby knows nothing of sin or the choice to follow sin. But however, as the child grows, there comes a time when he knows right from wrong. And we call this time reaching the age of accountability. And at that time, the child, he makes a conscious decision to either do evil or to do good. And when that decision is made, the wide gate has been entered, and the broad way becomes the course of life. But now, we all know where the road will end up. But if you notice, Jesus said that this was the crowded way. See, many more will find their way onto the broad road than onto the narrow way. Many more will spend eternity in hell than will ever be in heaven. And that's a sad thing, but what's really sad about the whole thing is that men and women have had many choices throughout their lives to change their roads. But they ignore the opportunity and plunge head first towards hell with reckless abandon and without visible concern for the soul. Please don't let this happen to you, Emmanuel. You see, you have the opportunity to change your life this morning. Take advantage of it and come to Jesus for salvation. But you see, there is, Sister White, a narrow gate which you can choose to enter. While the wide gate is easy to find, but man is born staring right into it. The straight gate is something that must be sought out. And what I mean is this: when God calls the sinner to come to Him for salvation, he must choose to look away from the allurements of the broad way and see the narrow way offers life and hope, while the broad way offers only death, pain, and destruction. This narrow way offers a clear opportunity for those who decide to enter. First of all, it's an open gate. It offers life to all who will come in. It alone promises heaven to those who come this way. It's a small gate, and this reminds us that you can't bring your junk with you. If you're going to come to Jesus for salvation, then you're going to have to be willing to turn your back on the sin and the junk of this world. You see, you're not fooling anyone but yourself. You can think that you can hang on to the world with one hand and Jesus with the other. The only way to Him is a narrow way, and it requires that we lay down everything and cling simply to Jesus and Him alone. Nothing in my hand I bring, simply to the cross I cling. So what are you holding on to that's keeping you away from the Lord Jesus Christ? But let me tell you, Whatever it isn't worth the price. You have to pay to keep it. Throw it down and cast yourself on Jesus for your salvation. Now Jesus said there will be few who found this day. Man is not, as I said earlier, at a crossroad because he's walking the broad way until he turns his eyes away from that way and places them on Jesus. Then and only then does a man have the opportunity to be saved. Perhaps you will be saved because you are looking for what God offers through Jesus. Perhaps they are so filled up with the world and their own ways that they have no time for what God offers them. But let me remind you that when a man is left to his own way, he will always wind up in hell. Emmanuel, time is running out. And we don't know the day or the hour that Jesus is coming back. So make sure you're on the right road. That reminds me of a story of a man one day who came face to face with death. You see, he was standing on the corner and death walked by. And death looked a little bit surprised, but he kept on going about his business. And this man was terrified. This man was scared. So he went to an old wise man to see what he should do. He told him, I just saw death a few minutes ago, and he looked shocked to see me. What should I do? So the old man told him, if I were you, I would run as fast as I could and go to the next city. So the man, he got up and he ran as fast as he could to the next city. And as soon as he crossed the city line, he ran into death again. So now he's confused. And he said, Death, I just ran into you yesterday, and I left the city to get away from you. But Death said, oh yeah, I was surprised to see you yesterday too, especially since I'm scared to read you right now. All I'm trying to say is, time is running out. We don't know the day, no hour that Jesus is coming back. So make sure you're on the right road. Where will you end up this morning? Will it be heaven or hell? Will it be the narrow way of walking with God? Or the broad way of anything goes? Where will you end up? You may say, Pastor, I want to go to heaven. Then come to Jesus and into his salvation. Through faith in him. Return from your sin. Because God cannot and will not tolerate sin. Because sin is rebellion against God and it's real God. You see, because of sin, many eyes have been blinded. Because of sin, lives have been ruined. Babies have been robbed. Prayers have been hindered. Hearts have been corrupted. Strength has been weak. Testimonies have been deceived. Because of sin, lives have been deceived. Because of sin, spirits have been wounded. Souls have been sold. That sin can rob you of your joy. It can rob you of your peace. It can rob you of your repentance. It can rob you of your blessing. Sin will create a thirst that it can't quench. Sin will create a hunger that it can't satisfy. Sin will create an emptiness that it can't feel. Sin will create a wound that it can't heal. And sin will create a storm that it can't calm. But I know someone who is from the storm of sin. He's the one who sits high in this world. There's nobody like Hallelujah.